If you ever find a perfectly clean set of stairs deep in the middle of the woods, do not approach them. Do not touch them. And whatever you do not climb them. I've been a search and rescue officer in the Pacific Northwest for 7 years. I thought I knew every danger these forests had to offer. Bears, sudden drops, freezing temperatures. I was wrong. The real danger is something we are strictly forbidden to talk about. It started last October. I was assigned to a night patrol near Sector 4. For those who don't know, Sector 4 isn't on any public map. Visitors are kept miles away from it. The official reason? Unstable terrain. The real reason? People who go in there don't come back as themselves. My partner, a veteran named David, handed me a crumpled piece of paper before our shift. It was a list of rules for the night shift. Rule number 1, if you hear someone calling your name from the trees, and it sounds exactly like your mother, turn off your flashlight and stand perfectly still. I thought he was messing with the new guy, but David wasn't smiling. His eyes looked hollow, like a man who hadn't slept in weeks. We started our hike at midnight. The woods were dead silent. No owls, no wind, just the heavy crunch of our boots. At 2:14 a.m., the radio on my shoulder cracked to life with heavy static. It wasn't dispatch. It was a voice crying for help. A voice that sent absolute ice through my veins. It was David's voice, begging me to save him, sobbing in absolute terror. But there was one massive problem. David was walking right in front of me. I stopped dead in my tracks. David stopped too. He slowly turned around to look at me, his face completely pale. He pointed his trembling finger into the absolute darkness of the tree line. I shone my flashlight where he was pointing. At first, I saw nothing but dense pine trees. But then, about 50 feet out, the beam caught something that didn't belong there. It was polished wood. It looked brand new. I took a few cautious steps forward, my hand gripping my service weapon. There it was. A perfectly clean, seemingly brand new wooden staircase, standing alone in the middle of the forest floor. It didn't lead anywhere. It just went up into the darkness and stopped. The radio on my shoulder suddenly went dead silent. The static stopped. David's crying stopped. The silence was heavier than before. I turned back to look at David. He wasn't looking at the stairs anymore. He was looking straight at me. His eyes were incredibly wide, almost unblinking. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out physically. Instead, his voice crackled through my radio again, crystal clear this time, without any static. The voice on the radio whispered, "It wants to know if we can see it yet." My blood ran cold. "Who, David? Who wants to know?" I asked, my voice shaking. The real David, standing right there, just tilted his head at an unnatural angle. The radio voice replied, "The man at the top of the stairs. He says he knows your mother's name." I immediately shut off my flashlight. Rule number 1. I stood perfectly still in the pitch black. I could hear David breathing heavily nearby. But then I heard another sound. A slow, deliberate creaking of wood, like someone taking a heavy step onto the bottom stair of that staircase. And then another step, and another. I was paralyzed. The rules said not to move, not to breathe. I heard a third step creak. It was slow, heavy, and then the voice on my radio changed. It wasn't David anymore. It was a woman's voice, gentle, sweet, singing a lullaby my mother used to sing to me when I was 5. "Come up here, sweetheart. It's so warm up here." I squeezed my eyes shut. I could smell something awful, like ozone and old copper. Suddenly, David moved. He didn't turn his flashlight on. He just started walking forward, straight into the darkness, right toward the stairs. I reached out and grabbed his jacket. "David, no!" I hissed. But he pulled away with a strength that felt entirely inhuman. The thick fabric of his jacket tore in my hands. I heard his heavy boots hit the first wooden step, then the second. I couldn't see anything. but I heard him walking up. And as he climbed, the lullaby on my radio got louder, twisting into a distorted, metallic screech. "David," I whispered into the radio. Static answered me. Then, a wet, sickening crunch echoed through the trees, followed by a sound I will never, ever forget. It was David, laughing, but it sounded like the laughter was coming from a dozen different mouths at once. Rule number 7. If your partner ascends the stairs, run and do not look back. Not even once. I turned and sprinted blindly through the pitch-black forest. Branches tore at my face, roots tripped me, but I didn't stop. I ran until my lungs burned, and I saw the yellow lights of the ranger station. I burst through the door, covered in mud, shaking uncontrollably. The captain was sitting at his desk. He didn't look surprised. He just looked at my empty hands, looked at my torn uniform, and asked quietly, "Sector 4?" I nodded, unable to speak. He calmly picked up a marker and crossed David's name off the whiteboard without a single word. They never searched for him. There was no rescue mission. Officially, David transferred to a park in another state. But I know the truth. He's still out there. And whatever is at the top of those pristine wooden stairs, it's wearing his voice now. If you are ever hiking in the Pacific Northwest and you suddenly smell copper in the air, turn around. And whatever you do, do not listen to the radio. What do you think is hiding at the top of those stairs? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you want to hear more classified park ranger logs, hit that subscribe button. If you dare, you